was all that work for? Alright, audio. What is up, Brahs? We are live on the PS5 right now. We finally reached 50 subs. Let's go. Thank y'all so much for that, by the way. Simplified control. Yeah, anyways, so welcome to our first stream, and for the first time, Stanley Parable Ultra
All of
Deluxe.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Juan's
Stanley
gone,
decided
guys.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh,
No
yeah.
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Dang, number one dad's gone. I forgot his name. Matter of fact, I don't even know who that is. My dad's the best. I don't know what you're on about, bro. I hate Mondays. Man, my pencil sharpener's gone. Dang it, Beth is gone. No! Yo, everyone's gone. Hold up. Photo that real quick. I am not looking for the number 420, I swear.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Yo, I broke his computer. Oh. My bad, G. Awaiting input. Can you... Hold on, I gotta turn my sensitivity up. Perfect. No, I'm not going to like that later. 7. Let's stick with 5. Okay, hold on. How do I zoom? Hold on. There has to be... That was not a voice crack, I swear. Hold up. Hold up. Bruh. Dang it, I can't zoom. Brah! Hold up. It's a word. Bro, his mug is wild, bro. Okay, I really hope this isn't copyright. I'm gonna freak out. Oops. Hello? Ooh. Oh. Oh. Hello? Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. Yo. Juan used to work in there. Wait, that's room 420? Oh. You'll never know. That's sketchy, bro.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I didn't. Alright, so I think we should do 2 playthroughs.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Who's closing the doors?
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, I thought the projector was floating. Gulp. Oh. Where Where's the remote? And who spilled their coffee on my instructions? Well, I spent long hours making these. What the heck? Ow.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Pliers! Pliers! Gimme!
There was nothing here.
Give me the pliers!
No
Give me
choice
the
to make,
pliers!
no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
I want a broom.
No reason to still be here.
I don't care. I don't know where I'm going. I'm confused.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
This is obvious enough. Right. Oh, nah! I swear to... They locked me in. That's not my fault. I want to go. Oh, because I want to check out the entire thing. Executive bathroom. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast. Money twice. Okay. This is... Okay, I can't talk. Extreme bathroom. What the heck? Oh, that's how I look like. I look like air. Dang, that's crazy. Yo, that poor panda, bro. What does bro do? Dang, you don't have a pair of pliers?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
Ooh, that's wild.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I swear, if that closes, I'm a freak out. Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm good. Good. I can feel the... Dude, I can feel the heat radiating off that lamp in real life. That is crazy. What's over here? Yeah, I'm scared. It's too black. Down. No.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay, what? My elevator broke.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Crazy. Right there.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah. Let's find this out. Dang, I should have made that right. That was dumb.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building,
No!
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Where's 420? Where's 420? There it is. Boom. I'm gonna crop that photo. Hold on. Sir. Got it. Wait. It's under me.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Just like me. Hey, yup.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Oh, the fired one. Hold on.
Wasn't it?
No,
Was it even possible?
No.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Thank God I got that.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Yo, why does this look like a
happy,
missile set?
or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very
It doesn't burn.
place.
This isn't fair.
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
No. Didn't I just read that? Hold on. Oh my God, this is why I always keep a stream in the background. What? Turn the volume down. Actually, the phone is good. Yeah, okay. Yo, look, I can make a beat out of that. Huh? It's not working. Okay, I don't understand this. I just like clicking buttons. Yo, is that a button on top of a door? Oh. You're not gonna lie, kind of got bored. And number 5. Oh, what? There's more? Yo. Okay, I wish I could run, but I can't. Got it. 1, 2. Wherever the Halo 3 is. Excuse me. Can't get up there? Are you serious? Where's 3 and 4? Okay, no, this is not cool. Yo, I cannot see, bruh. Three. Think. I wonder if that's 4. But the door's not open. I'm not gonna give up on my quest. I must find all the buttons. I don't know, I just want to find all the buttons. And after I press all of them, I don't know what happens, so. Because I ain't never played this game. I just downloaded it. And I'm playing with y'all. Feel honored. Feel honored. No, I'm kidding. Is that number 4? And number 5? Where's 4? No, I don't want to be like some Chinese guy. 1, 2, 5. Get the fuck out of my hat. Oh, no. What's this? Oh. 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 3. Is that 4? I think that might be 4. It's just I can't reach it. Oh. I can't open the door. What is going on?
And when at last he found the source of the room's... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand,
I'm
there's
scared.
only so
Why
much
is
that
Brah?
machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave.
Not bad,
If
not
you
bad.
want to
Hold on,
throw my story off
hold on.
track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have
Turn
nearly
off.
the power
Turn
you
off.
think you do. For example, and I believe you'll
Help.
find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Wait,
Other times,
go,
I let the office sink into the ground,
we have 59
swallowing
seconds, Brah.
everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Oh, we're cooked.
I have to say
We're
this,
definitely
though,
cooked.
this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Eh?
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be
This
laughing at
stream is
every
gyrating
second
and
of
it's
your
making
inevitable
me
life from the moment
so
we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Yeah. Huh. Wild.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright. Do we go left or do we go right?
Set of two open doors, he
Go
entered
right
the
real
door
quick.
on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yeah.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just
Here.
to admire it.
He knows me best. Oh.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all. Just about eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the cargo lift while in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift 1,000. I'll be... Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Here you are.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please,
Yay.
stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Ooh.
She's been waiting.
What?
That's her, Stanley.
Oh god. Ah! It burn.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
No.
Who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Wow.
I'm trying to get you to see something.
Wow.
Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I don't wanna. Ugh. I can't. No! No!
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
No. No.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He
Yeah.
has a job that demands nothing of him.
No.
And every button that he pushes
I've been locked in
is a
this
reminder
room
of the
alone.
inconsequential
And
nature
with
of
that
his
thing.
existence.
Ah.
Look at him there, pushing buttons,
Woo.
doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch.
Excuse me,
Now
can you...
he's going home.
What?
Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands.
I can't wait to see what it's like out there.
And each day that he returned to work
Let me out.
was a reminder that
Let me
none of
out.
it would ever happen to him.
I don't want to be here anymore. No. I want to do the opposite of your
And so he began to
Where's my TV?
fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought
I regret doing
excited him
this.
terribly.
Yeah.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Huh?
As he wandered through this
Yo.
fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths
someone get that
and
thing out of here?
destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind control. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
What?
And
No,
he
no,
called
no,
it
no, no, no.
The Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he
open the
played
door?
just one more time.
Please.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In
Man,
reality,
I'm back
all
at
he's
my
doing is
desk.
pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested
wanna
he
work my
gets.
9 to
The
5.
more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this
shouldn't
world,
have-
he can never be anything
shouldn't have
but
gone
an
through this
observer.
door.
That as long as he remains here,
I don't regret
he's slowly
going
killing
right, but I
himself.
don't.
But he won't listen to me.
But I
He won't
do
stop.
regret going into here.
Watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Bet.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand
Oh,
that
I just
every
don't like
second
you.
he remains here,
You're not
he's
my friend.
electing to kill himself? How can I
Oh,
get him to see
yo.
what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll
Honestly,
try
I
once
never
more to
understood
convey
this
all
game, but it's
to
kind of
him.
funny.
I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
I don't know
And I
what
tried
else.
again,
No.
and Stanley pushed a button. And I
No.
tried again, and Stanley pushed a
No.
button. And
No.
I tried.
Oh, not again. What time is it? Yo, why is it like dark? You know, I don't know why, but it kind of made me set the time, and I didn't know why.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay, this is weird.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Things are starting to become off, Batman.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, we're gonna speedrun this.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Oh, yeah.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job.
That's it. I'm buying Phasmophobia.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
Where are my
dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job.
No.
Let me continue pushing the buttons.
No.
Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
No.
I am okay.
No, my mental state's broken. Fine.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am
Hey, why
real.
does that scare me?
Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
No!
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh, yeah.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She
Oh.
arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the
that's
body
me.
of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
She didn't turn and run. That's not fair. Alright, here we go. Speed run.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries?
Oh my god, things are happening.
Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Alright, do we go right or left? Wait, hold on. Did I do not disturb on? What is going on? I do not have D&D on.
When Stanley came to a set
Alright,
of
what do we
two
do?
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, we're just gonna go left. We're gonna do what this man tells me.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
Boss's
disbelief,
office.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What was it? 2458?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course,
Okay, I had all the numbers.
Stanley
They were just all the
couldn't-
wrong
But
ones.
incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I've seen this passage before. The rats are making me crazy. There we go. No! 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 Okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ooh.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, yo. Meow, meow, meow. Yeah, no. Oh my god, that sound weapon is gruesome.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was
Ow.
inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
What?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game.
A few
back in
minutes?
his
Are you
office,
serious?
as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk
Yo,
has
this
been
is
created
beautiful.
for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless,
Oh my
making
god!
life
That's
the
my
same.
office!
Do you
That's
see
my
now?
office!
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out. Or whatever. Ooh, what's that? Need to go explore. Raz. We need to go explore the office. Yay! What's this? Here.
To end this injustice forever. Stanley pushed the orange lever.
Crazy. Oh yeah, let's go. I earned a trophy. Oh yeah, I got another trophy.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How
Yeah.
they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not.
Okay, this is kind of
Sometimes
reminding
these
me
things
of what that
cannot be
romance
seen.
story was. I forgot the name of it, but
But
all I
listen to
know is
me.
that it's a
You
thing.
can still save these two.
Huh?
You can stop the program before they both fail.
Turn off
Okay.
your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop
Hey.
now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
That was violent. Am I coming back? Yo, imagine if this game could like control your PlayStation. That'd be awesome, bro. And it just turns it off.
A
Alright,
soft
sorry
wind
guys, the
blew
stream
outside and
ended.
perhaps rain started.
That'd be
And if it
wild,
did, it
bro.
stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
So it told me to put the time. I don't know why, but the time's in the game. I feel like there's a reason for that. I want to figure it out, because it's definitely not
When
something to do with the
Stanley came
clocks.
to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, let's do it. We're actually gonna do it now.
Yet there was
Or
not a
just not.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Two,
The
five,
moment he entered
2, 8,
his
4,
manager's
5.
office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not
8,
a living
5,
soul anywhere.
4.
Could he really be all alone?
2,
This was too much for Stanley
8,
to
5,
take. Too
4,
much
5.
for... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Yeah.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he
I know.
relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
No.
Feeling
Give
soothed
him-
and
Let
rejuvenated,
the
Stanley
narrator
calmly walked
talk.
forward into the opened passageway.
Oh, it's wrong. Oh. We. That didn't even let me choose. What the heck? Next run, we're going this, and then we're going up. Going down, then going back up.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
I don't care.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
This one's funny. So you get to slowly watch everything turn on. You ready?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the
So we got
number of
fire.
an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many
How many of them are
individuals
fired? I've
reduced to
only seen
images on
2.
a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Dang, there's only 2 that got fired. Luck.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had
Who's
been
that?
manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery...
Oh, I can't see. Oh yeah.
blackness, and a rising
Back
chill
there.
of uncertainty. Was it over?
Yeah.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's
my
grasp?
God.
What other
It's the
mysteries did
outside
this strange
world.
building hold?
It's
But
beautiful.
as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to
Hey,
let
yo.
go.
Yo, why
No
does this
longer
look
would
really
anyone
good?
tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Yay. Alright, we're doing it again. Here we go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, y'all ready? Ooh!
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
No!
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yeah.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Yeah.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
What I feel like I can hear this echoing through my TV from my controller.
In the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Me too.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm
Wait,
sure
no, there was
it's
a door
just
over there.
the beginning of a
No!
mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle. Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Eh?
another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's
No.
just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Oh. Hey, yo! Guys, what happened to the office? Oh!
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well,
No, I do. I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. You're not a dog.
Damn. What's that?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
It's my
call
house.
it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Wait, is that? No, it's not.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
No!
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling. These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
I want to go over there. But there's boxes. I don't like boxes. Literally. Boo!
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Yo!
Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Hold on. I am.
Okay, let's see what this one says.
What?
While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh, dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure,
Unfunny.
like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley
Funny.
Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say?
It's a boat.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, well...
Hold on, let me turn text-to-speech on. Alright, whatever.
Welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
Oh, you really can't hear it. Oh.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to
You can
think
hear it
about you and
echoing. My
about
bad,
us and
Brah.
about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year.
Eh?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world, as though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others.
Oh my
But of
god.
course, absolutely anyone can leave a
It
review.
just
So
keeps
here's what
getting
we get.
better.
We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with the end is never the end, 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 is never.
Huh. Crazy. Ah! Oh, my bad. Light scared me. Dang, that's beautiful. Next. Oh, that's terrifying. No, that's terrifying. No, 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 no. Ah! Go, 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 go! Okay. Yo, it just keeps getting worse. Oh. want to see if it comes back up. Aw. Narrator, I'm sorry I miss you, bro. It's very sad. So it's fun to start playing, bro.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
You...
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Go. Alright.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Hold on, let me just turn my microwave on.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday.
Nah! It's filling them up with the wrong balloon! Ugh.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on. Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's a... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
No, that's not fair, no.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
The jump circle! Yay.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
I wonder if I can find the Rocket League one. No screenshots. I took a screenshot. Google stopped me. What does?
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, Well, we'll figure that out later. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you
don't care.
properly role-play as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button.
I'm Jim.
Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says. But no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
No!
Jim.
No! Jim! No! Jim! Jimmy McJimmington! Why did it say Jim in such a flat tone? Oh my god. Jim. Guys, oh my god, look at Jim. Guys, look at Jim.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Jim. Yo, imagine someone is named Jim and they were playing this game and they pressed that button and then when he took it away they started crying, bro. Jim. Jim. Oh my god, Jim.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video
Infinite
games as a
hole.
medium.
Okay. I love holes.
To infinity and beyond.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since
No, this
you've
is
gotten
terrible.
to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
I think I'm gonna just keep going.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Yo, you can. I feel like I can faintly see something though.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Wait,
Is
what?
it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't
Why
an
do my curtains start
astonishingly
moving,
deep
bro?
hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective,
that?
the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Oh,
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look,
it might be the
things
problem.
got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly?
I didn't even say anything.
If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
I like holes too much.
Said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
Yeah, it did.
I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I
Okay,
really
guys,
do
go.
have so much more to share. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only... How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
No!
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get
No!
more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole.
He's
I get to
leaving
do
me.
literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Oh. What was that? It's going down. We're going in. Going in. Huh?
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
We're back.
Go on, try out some of the new features. Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life. God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Let's see if it works yet. No. No! The button's gone! This isn't fair. Pretty sure it's fucking not hell now. There's merch. I want the gym merch. I want the gym merch.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of
My
reckless
reassurance
despair
bucket
in
is
those
not
who
there.
played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind.
Oh.
It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the
The
many
bucket.
disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal.
Give me the bucket, 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 give me the bucket,
You
give
may
me the
even
bucket,
come
give me
to
the bucket, give me the
long for
bucket,
the
give me the
gentle embrace
give me the
or
bucket, give me the
jarring
bucket, give me the bucket, give me the bucket,
cognitive
give me the bucket,
dissonance
give me the
while the
bucket, give me the bucket,
bucket is in
give me the
your
bucket, give me the bucket,
arms.
give me the bucket.
It's a much more
Oh my god, I'm
convenient
confused.
solution
Give me the
for
bucket,
me
give me the bucket, give me the
than
bucket.
actually
Give what?
redesigning the
Give me
game
the
to
bucket,
be
give me the
less
bucket, give me the bucket.
uncomfortable.
Yep,
Can
got
you
it?
imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Give me the bucket. Oh, it was it.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already
Yeah.
be sweeping through your body. And in fact,
I have a
can I
bucket.
say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest
Oh,
bit
yeah.
more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
I'm holding a bucket, dude. Oh. Nope. Oh, I thought Jim was on there.
All right.
Bucket.
Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Oh, yeah.
Ready to move on now?
No. I'm just leaving because I don't know what else there is.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
No.
Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment.
There'll never
I'll
be,
arrange these
literally.
new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Here it
ready to
is.
jump into the hole.
I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Ah! What was that?
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind.
My
Hold on.
collectibles are in
Let me
there.
do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Okay.
Who am I
This
kidding,
keeps getting
Stanley?
worse.
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Gags.
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
It's me. Oh my god, I get the game free!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
It's
room.
perfect.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked
reassurance
up
bucket?
the bucket.
Just noticed he said that. Stanley, duck the butt. What the heck?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office
Yo,
is
this
where
keeps
he'd
getting
find
better.
answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
Stanley
office.
in the bucket.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. You found one of them. one of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Yo, guys, my closet's low-key moving, bro.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
Oh my God,
The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I thought I lost my bucket.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I feel very powerful with my bucket.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst
bucket
into
crying.
tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No!
Oh, that's a
Screamed
honest
into
question.
the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the
I love bucket.
the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust,
Stanley
to
wanted to
support.
sneeze in every country on Earth.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this
I want
place,
the bucket.
not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Huh?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perception.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Get back up!
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How
I
deeply
died.
touching. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket
I'll do that next
asked.
time. I'll do that next time. Oh.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket. This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
I don't know what happens if I just sit.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it. Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? I'm having feelings for the bucket. Oh, no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
You're not taking my bucket. Nuh-uh. The end is never, 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 the end is never.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chin. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Hey, where am I? You know, so far, I just remember the time has not played a single part.
This is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
Oh.
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
No. I hurt myself. Just one my other AirPod.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. Giddy but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked... Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1. Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me. Aha! Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Yeah.
Do not think I put a lot of time into that, because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
100% wanted to see
Tell you
vehicles
what,
and skill
let me
trees.
take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Uh-huh. The fact that those 7 hours aren't true. It's only 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Love this game. I love this game. I'm gonna let him go. Now he's burning.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha!
Hey, yo, it's Fire
Fascinating.
Lookout.
What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
What? Wait, why was there a Minecraft door opening sound effect?
Oh, no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. I
No.
really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Rocket League.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together.
We just thought it said
Yes,
carbon
I
fiber.
think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun. Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better
Yeah.
than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing?
No! I fell.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Okay, like, why do I kind of miss the narrator? Narrator. Narrator, come back. Okay, bro, I miss... Ceiling Bibby. I miss you, narrator. It was my best friend. And now he's gone. Okay, how do I leave this?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait. A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay... No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Fine. Oh, yo.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. No. What did we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
I don't trust him. I want to do it. I'm jumping.
Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
I'm sipping on promethazine. I'm sipping on promethazine. I can't put down the cup. I can't put down the cup. I'm gonna play that at max volume. I can't put down the cup. I can't put down the cup. Yeah. What do you mean? They call me Splurge. They're getting hurt. Yeah. 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 What do you mean?
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No, no, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Yeah.
Or maybe
Why am
you're
I
just
not dead
getting a
yet?
kick out of it. I don't know anymore. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
And I'm walking slower. This is a good thing.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Okay, This is starting to get sad.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door,
You know,
I
it's
can
funny,
make it
I
through
die,
the
right? It's hilarious, dude. I fall off and I die.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to
It's
the
just
meeting
so
room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
wild on how
Perhaps
this goes.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
Dang, I just noticed it keeps these comments on the employees lounge just keeps getting worse and worse.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
We're back to this again.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let
me
me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
What? Oh my god, no! Oh no!
Heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me.
Oh, what a shame.
I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley, and it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Progressively worse. Best reverse. I'm seriously flirting with death. Nerd.
Oh, no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun. Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls! Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you'd like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Isn't that crazy? It's Rocket League. Literally inside of the Stanley Parable.
Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back. I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story,
well,
well,
I
perhaps
guess
he's gotten it. Down in
That'll
wherever
do
he
it
is
for
right
today's
now.
stream,
I
my
wonder if he's
Brett.
happy with his choice.
I'll see y'all
And
next
if he's
time, I
learned the
guess.
heavy cost
Whenever
that
I
comes
stream
with it.
again. I'll
He'll
see y'all.
understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He
This is
needs me.
X&TB signing
Someone who will
off.
write everything up at the
Stay,
end to
stay,
make
ride
sense out
safe,
of the
stay frosty.
chaos and the
Goodbye.
fear and the confusion.